Coins holding right around 68,000. XRP still slightly under $1.50, but we do have a ton of news rolling out today, yesterday, and over the weekend. It's Monday, President's Day, but let's cover all of the news. Again, you can follow me on X at LongView Crypto. And again, also subscribe for LongView Compute. We do news every single day, Monday through Saturday at noon. We cover every single headline. And again, we are here for the long view. Not what the price is necessarily today or tomorrow, but what it's going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But we need to know where we are so we know where we're going. Let's get started with the news, though. We're going to start with bad news. We have all the news, good, bad, or indifferent. XRP ETFs post weakest week since launch with 7.65 million in net inflows. For context, the previous week saw 51.3 million in inflows. Again, this is just one ETF. Now, breaking news, token escrow on XRP is now activated. Real-world assets and DeFi infrastructure go live on the XRPL. The token escrow amendment is officially live. For the first time ever, tokens issued on XRPL, not just XRP, can now be escrowed natively. So again, tokens issued on XRPL. Now, what is this? The Clarity Act will create a boom in crypto the way Telecommunications Act created an internet boom. We talk about the similarities between crypto and the internet all the time, as with any other major technological advance in our lifetime. If you guys caught the video yesterday, or if you didn't catch the video yesterday that I released, I highly suggest you go watch it. It's only 6 minutes long, but I think it has some good information in it. But it says this time is different. The value is the protocol, not in the investment. So what does this have to say? Let's give a listen here.
Ever since I fell down the crypto rabbit hole at the end of the last financial crisis, I've always looked at crypto as a better architecture of finance. And I still look at it that way today. Of course, it's an awesome new alternative asset class. But far more important, I believe, is its role to underpin the new financial system. It's a digital network architecture of finance. It's in all of our interests that we have the type of national legislation that we had back in the 1990s, the Telecommunications Act, that unleashed the first wave of the internet. It gave it a sound legislative and legal underpinning. I think we all need a sound legal underpinning so that whoever is elected in the next presidential election can't, at a whim, as it was done in the last, become hostile to this innovation. If we put the American economy on a digital network architecture, we're going to win the next century. We've got to have that legislation, I believe.
Again, he's basically echoing what we've been saying on the channel, or at least what I've been saying on the channel, that institutions are not going to fully hop in until the Clarity Act is done, because everything that's been done can be undone with a new administration. Now, this is, of course, institutions are buying crypto while crypto users are buying institutional products. Think about that for a second. Take a listen to this.
The last couple of years has been all about the institutions. Institutions are buying crypto, but crypto users are buying institutional products. We forgot another very important topic, which is how do we bring the regular user into crypto? Trading of assets in the exchange has value, but the point on that is that people aren't thinking long-term. When you bring people into the ecosystem that are not only here for the quick buck of the trading, will actually create a much better simulation of the world and actually a much healthier ecosystem. The last couple of years has been all about.
So what is this saying? It's been all institutions because retail is just trying to make a quick buck. That's why retail has been getting wrecked the last year or two in crypto, because the major institutions are controlling the spot price. Less and less retail is actually positioning themselves with the actual asset. And we have more information in regards to that with XRP. I have an updated rich list for you guys. And again, keep the chat rolling. Once I get through all of the news, we're going to have a live Q&A like we do at the end of every single stream. And typically we'll do a recap somewhere in the middle for anyone who came in late. Make sure you hit the like button. Keep the stream growing. I'm going to get into the chat here in a minute, but let's continue with the news. What does Mr. Tom Lee have to say?
I mean, we should be pretty close because, one, I think sentiment is terrible. The price action's been bad. Tom DeMark, who is our advisor on timing, since November, he's been saying Bitcoin would get towards 60, and Ethereum he thinks should bottom. Well, originally 2,400, but he says if it didn't hold there, Ethereum would bottom around 1890. So I think it touched it to the penny. He thinks we just have to undercut it once more, and then that's the low. Meaning we're really close to the end. I think the crypto winter is going to, it's either ended already or it's going to, the latest is April. So I think we're almost through the winter. When spring comes, crypto spring comes. I mean, we should be pretty
according
close.
to Tom Lee, crypto winter is almost over. Winter is no longer coming for XRP and for the rest of the crypto community. Again, I hold more than just XRP. It is my favorite, but I hold XRP, Canton Network, HBAR, Chainlink, and Ondo. And then my real world play is gold, silver, copper, real estate, and energy. I haven't mentioned energy in a while, but there's a reason for me bringing that up. Those of you who've been around for a long time know that alternative energy is one of my plays. Now, I'm not going to play this video for you because it's in a different language. None of us are going to understand it, and it doesn't have subtitles. But Japan's finance minister has officially voiced support for SBI Group's blockchain-based security settlement and stablecoin initiative, a major signal for the XRPL and the Ripple ecosystem. Remember, SBI is a Ripple partner. There's been a lot of drama with SBI and how much XRP they're holding. Like, a lot of people are confirming them as a Ripple partner and ties to Ripple, but they're trying to coordinate that with how much XRP they hold. So SBI did come out with an announcement about that. But updated rich list for you all, courtesy of Steph is Crypto. Updated rich list now. You are in the top 10% if you hold 2,200 XRP or more. Think about that. This has massively changed. A lot of retail got shook out in this last collapse. So, for the XRP holders, if you hold more than 2,233 XRP, you are now a 10%er. And if you hold 10,100 or more, you're in the top 4%. It really isn't that much if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. And if you really want to think about it in the grand scheme of things, think about how few people are just involved in anything crypto outside of Bitcoin, let alone the very few that are actually involved in Bitcoin. As this moves forward, we're going to see a lot more money enter the crypto space once we get some regulation, in my opinion. And again, you guys can see it on the screen, but as always, nothing on the stream is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. You should always do your own research. Everything on the channel is for entertainment and educational purposes only. But keep the chat going, guys. I do appreciate it. We still have a lot of more news today. That's why I pretty much just titled the video News. Everyone loves news, but we get it good, bad, and indifferent. So this is breaking. XRP Ledger ranks number 2 in the 30-day RWA growth, up 15.37% in the last 30 days. 1.5 billion in tokenized assets. Market share is climbing, beating Polygon, Solana, and Avalanche. Now, I brought this up for two things. One, we love XRP news. But two, if you look at this list, what is under XRP? This is why I build my portfolio around infrastructure and long-term investment, right? For the next 5 to 10 years. Canton Network and XRP are showing the proof in the pudding. We are seeing it come on chain. Now, we have more data for on-chain data when it comes to XRP Ledger, something we follow every single day, but we have more news. Let's continue. So, Grayscale. Advisors are constantly asked by their clients about XRP, and in some cases, it is the second most talked about asset in this community behind Bitcoin. As Grayscale shared during Ripple's XRP Community Day, advisors across the country consistently hear about XRP from their clients. Strong community, persistent demand. XRP is not going anywhere. There's a reason it's a top 5 crypto even when it's bad. So again, it's not going anywhere. Is the end of this cycle? Are we at the end of the crypto winter? Are we about to hit an altcoin super cycle? We're seeing stuff across the board. I personally think we are at or very, very near the bottom. I called out 55K originally and then altered it to 60K. The reason for me altering the bottom of Bitcoin to 60K for me personally was because I did some research and discovered that is the operating cost for the Bitcoin miners. If they are not making 60K per Bitcoin, they cannot pay their debts. So that's kind of created a hard institutional floor for Bitcoin. So if it collapses below that, there could be a lot of pain. But again, that's why we dollar cost average in over time. Here for the long view, not trying to necessarily time tops and bottoms. Dollar cost averaging wins every single time. Now, back stateside, so Eleanor Terrett, new stablecoin standoff, crypto and banks remain deadlocked ahead of the White House deadline. So no change when it comes to the banks and the Senate Bank Committee. Another closed door meeting, though, will take place on March 1st. Deadline on the Clarity Act. So when will this? It's going to take place next week, and the deadline is March 1st. So we're going to have another meeting at the White House with crypto leaders and bank senior officials in response to the Digital Chamber, representing over 130 crypto firms, published its own set of principles Friday, pushing back. These principles push the preserve stablecoins as payment instruments, protect DeFi liquidity, and dollar dominance. As it's President's Day, they are not working today. Keep an eye on updates tomorrow. So again, next week, another meeting on the structure bill. Again, no vote, just a meeting. They're still trying to get it past the Senate Banking Committee. Standard Charter reduces its XRP target by 65%, pulling it from $8 to $2.80. So we have some people predicting the end of the crypto winter and some people predicting, even still, at $1.80, that's almost a 100% increase from where it is today, but it's not all-time highs like it was last year. So that's why we take everything with a grain of salt. We dollar cost average in, and we remember the long view perspective of what we are trying to create here over the next 5 to 10 years. Big signal for the future of institutional rails. The Deutsche Bank has joined Canton Network as a validator, another major validator for Canton Network. This thing is only growing. It's like every single week they have another major validator coming on chain. Now, what does CZ have to say about the current crypto market?
Am I a Bitcoin maximalist? A lot of stuff around free speech. What is the role of privacy in crypto? One of the things that I struggle with, if you ask me, am I a Bitcoin maximalist? I would say no. Even though I was early, I think my biggest issue with it is that there's a lack of fungibility, which I think is problematic to get to mega scale. And then there's a lack of privacy.
I agree.
It's probably the biggest thing that will hold Bitcoin back from being ubiquitous. Where does privacy play as the world evolves, as you see it?
I think privacy plays a very fundamental role in our society. But right now, as you said, I also think that Bitcoin and most cryptocurrencies do not have enough privacy features.
Yeah.
I think when Bitcoin was designed, it was going to be pseudo-anonymous. But the fact is, every transaction on the blockchain you can trace, especially now you have a centralized exchange with KYC.
Exactly.
And, if you have it's actually very easy.
And by the way, we go always back to the same argument, which is it always goes back to the corner case of, well, somebody's using this for something illicit. And I say, there are those use cases, but the overwhelming majority is you buy a pack of gum, but tomorrow you may buy, you may want to buy a certain movie or a video game. You may want to buy a cigarette. And it's not for me to judge.
Yeah.
And dollars are fungible in that sense. There's complete anonymity. We have no idea about what it was used before that I got my hands on it.
Yeah. Well, there are actually real applications where privacy is extremely important. If you book a certain hotel and people know that hotel address, like blockchain hotel address, the receiving address, they will know that you will be in that hotel.
That's right.
That's a physical security for you.
That's right.
Right. So there are real use cases where privacy is very important. This is why people don't publicize their home addresses online.
That's right.
In many countries, if you reveal somebody in Japan, if you reveal somebody's home address, that's illegal. Right. So, there are real use cases for privacy, which Bitcoin, most cryptocurrencies currently do not provide.
Yeah.
This is a major problem, and that's why I got involved with the privacy layer, right? Canton Network is a major privacy layer. XRP Ledger just got their privacy amendments done, what was it, a week, 2 weeks ago. Privacy is going to be crucial because the big banks are not going to want to divulge everything. And there are reasons for privacy. We want privacy. We want personal privacy in our lives. We don't want the banks or anyone to know what we're spending our money on necessarily either. However, when it does come to like public trading and things like that, I do think there needs to be a layer of transparency so that there's no shady things going on either. And it's a very delicate situation when we're talking about privacy versus transparency when it comes to transactions on the blockchain. So that's the news on X. I have more articles. We're coming. We still got more news. Keep the chat rolling. We're going to do the live Q&A here in just a little bit. Hopefully people are coming in the stream. Hopefully it's growing, and hopefully everyone's having a fantastic Monday this President's Day on February 16th. Market's going up a little bit, so if we were dollar cost averaging in, people should still be seeing some green. Let's look at the price before I get into the rest of the articles, though, so we can see what we're working with today. We had a pullback in Bitcoin. Well, it ran up to 70, tapped it, and then pulled straight back. So again, we're trying to see what's going to happen with this 70K marker. Are we going to be able to push back it, or are we going to continue to consolidate between 70 and 65K? We'll find out tomorrow when liquidity re-arrives. We're supposed to be having, the government's supposed to be buying back some treasuries on Tuesday. If that's the case, there should be an injection of liquidity and price should go up. Again, not financial advice, but based on what I know of macroeconomics, we should see a little pump in the morning. But again, will it stick? We don't know. That's why we dollar cost average in. Let's take a look at XRP, see what XRP is doing. Right now, XRP is down to $1.48, again, following the same line as Bitcoin. But if we look and see what's actually happening on the ledger, let's take a look. So let me refresh this. I did it this morning. My computer got shut down on me. Actually, a lot of stuff got shut down on me because I streamed on my other channel last night. So I had to like rearrange a bunch of stuff. And now this doesn't want to work. Really? Why? Come on now. The page you're looking at for used information you entered return to that page might cause any action to look repeated. Yeah, okay. Let's just try this again. Let's just go to xrpscan.com and see if it'll let me go there. Okay, metrics, and all right, transaction types. So let's see what we're doing with payments on the XRP ledger. Oh, it is starting to ramp back up again. We got to almost 1.4 million yesterday. Again, we want to see this continue beyond 3 million. It's nice to track right now, but until it gets past 2.5, 3 million, it's not telling us anything, honestly. Account set activity still ramped up. Institutional onboarding, we have determined that. As far as the only best guess we can have as far as this amount of account set activity is institutional onboarding. And then the entire crypto market today is kind of mixed match, zeros down a little bit. Again, it had a massive pump when it was announced and talked about, but everything's just kind of choppy right now, trying to figure out what exactly is going to happen tomorrow after our nice little rebound. I'm not going to really call it a great rebound when we're still at $1.50 and we were at, $2 a couple months ago. That's not a rebound. We're still in the middle of the pullback until we start getting some positive momentum, in my opinion. Now, if we look at what's actually taking place here, a win for XRP in Japan. Finance minister backs SBI, blockchain settlement, and the stablecoin push. We actually just covered that. Japan is behind SBI. SBI is a Ripple partner. 3 big new reasons to be bullish about XRP, according to the Motley Fool. And I'm going to keep this quick because we've covered so much news, but keep the chat going. Let's talk about it. So, Ripple is adding a handful of new features to the XRP ledger, which we covered during XRP Community Day and the rollout that they had on February 5th, as far as how XRP is going to sit in the middle of everything that they're doing. It's reasonable to expect that the chain will see a lot more activity later this year as a result. Well, not only that, but when we're looking at what's being onboarded, I think it's reasonable to assume we're going to see a lot more activity going through 2026, plus what Monica Long and Brad said themselves about 2026 being the year of institutional adoption at scale. And their message has not changed over several years. Really, with XRP, the biggest risk comes down to one thing. Do you believe them or not? Do you believe that they are really going to consider XRP and building around XRP and driving XRP as the center of their business model like they say? That's up to you to decide. I happen to believe they do, but that's just me. But I also invest in a handful of assets that I believe in. As long as 3 of them win over the long view, I'm going to be just fine. But that's why I do research and check on these things every day and dollar cost average in over time. To DCA is the way. I need to get like a Mandalorian mug for DCAing or have like a baby Grogu or something. I love Star Wars. My dog looks like an Ewok. His face, he's got this smashed up face, and the only thing I see is an Ewok every time I see his face. Anyway, back to crypto. We got a little bit more news. I'm flying through it right now because we're going to get in the chat because I want to talk to everybody. I appreciate everyone taking your time to be here. Your time is your most valuable asset. It truly is. It's the only asset we will never get more of, right? So the fact that you spend your time here with me, I do truly appreciate it. Bitcoin could fall to 10K as U.S. recession risk builds, says Mike McGlone. Again, we cover all the news, good, bad, and indifferent. We're seeing things talk about with Raoul Powell and the death cycle, and, we're about to have the next super cycle and all of these things. We need to talk about the bad side, too, because we need some realism along with the hopium that comes with the headlines. Now, Bitcoin could fall to 10,000 as U.S. recession risks build. There is a recession risk. I constantly talk about the bubble in AI that's pumped full of debt. I've talked about private credit, not in this stream, but I've talked about private credit cracking and us starting to have some issues there, looking at Blue Owl Capital, looking at the pullbacks in software, looking at the pullbacks in AI. The question that everyone needs to answer, the question that everyone truly wants to know, is this the end of the pullback or is it going to get worse? That's the answer that people try to figure out. Well, that's why we dollar cost average in, because I don't care who you are, if you're Warren Buffett, Jimmy Buffett, or anyone in between, as they say on Wolf of Wall Street, no one knows if the damn thing's going to go up or down. No one knows tomorrow if it's going to go up or down. We have to play the odds. We have to play the numbers. And that's why I track logic. That's why I track numbers and try to follow things for the long view, because that's what wins statistically over time, not financial advice. So let's have a little bit of positive hopium to end the news on before we get into the questions and before we get into the live discussion. And then I will do a recap for everyone who came in late. I have a lot of energy today, if you can't tell. So XRP reserves on Binance have dropped to their lowest point since early 2024. The token's price remains stuck below the $1.50 mark. The crypto exchange now holds roughly 2.5 billion XRP, down sharply from 3.2 billion in November of 2024. Now remember, as we're reading this, we were reading about stuff in November and December about Binance having 1.6 billion. So again, take articles with a grain of salt, because if that's the case, then they're telling us it holds roughly 2.5 billion XRP, and this is a great thing. That means they've gained 900 million XRP since December, right? So again, take everything with a grain of salt, but this is what they're reporting on now. I don't personally take this for much, but take it for what you will. If you want to believe the hopium, hey, it's crashing. Right, the supply shock is ready to go. If you want to take it for the hopium, I'm not buying. Because yeah, right here it shows. See, they have this headline. Look at this chart here. You see where it was before? This is where it was before, back in November of 2024, and it shot way up here. And now it's over here. Okay, so yeah, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. I love how they get tricky with the articles sometimes. All right, let's talk to the chat. Hey, actually, before I do that, let me pull up the price again. Everyone loves price. I want to see where silver's at. I haven't looked at silver in a minute because we've been talking so much about what's going on with crypto, with the crash and the pullback and all of those things. Silver's kind of chopping right around the same price, 77. And I'm going to assume gold's in a similar situation. Gold futures is, 5,000. So they're chopping right where they've been chopping. It's just chop right now. Nothing really going on in the market. I am waiting. I did make a little bit of money on some futures last night / this morning. So that was good. That's why I'm green today. Because I made some money on the futures market. Right now it's running up again. You can see I got boxes and was doing my technical analysis. I do dabble from time to time in a little bit of day trading, but it's really, really small. I mean, we're talking like I do one micro futures contract. For those of you who don't know what that is, a micro futures contract is essentially every time Bitcoin goes up or down $100, I will either make or lose $10. So if it goes up $1,000, I make $100 if I have a long on it, or if I have a short betting on it to go down, it's the vice versa. So it's just leverage. But if I see a good opportunity, then I'll come in for a quick scalp and just take some profits. Now that I actually have some capital I can play with. Again, not financial advice for anyone else, but it is some stuff that I do and that I look at if I see a good opportunity. Let's talk to the chat though. Now let's get in the chat. Again, appreciate everyone taking your time to be here today. You guys have been keeping it real. Yep, Crypto Roger and Raul were the first ones in the house today. Is this popping up? I hope it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. All right, so I'm still reeling from the 300 plus name drop in the Epstein case by Pam Bondi. Many were calling for her dismissal. Then she does this. Wow, she has big balls. Either that or she has no brains, one of the two, right? I mean, honestly, there's so much drama and distraction going on right now in the country. It's really, really hard to tell what's real and what's not. What's a distraction? What's real? I mean, I honestly have been kind of staying out of the politics unless it's economic. I can't really completely stay out of it because, it impacts the market so much. But yeah. It's crazy out there, bro. What's going on, Pamp Stamper? Haven't seen you in a little bit. Appreciate you being here. Cynthia in the house. Abdul said something, but then took off. Cynthia in the house today dropped to 84 cents, then surged to an all-time high. XRP, not financial advice, but solid trade advice. I hope you're right. That's kind of what I was calling out originally when I originally did my technical analysis. Was I thought Bitcoin was going to go to 55K and I thought XRP was going to go to 80 cents. But when I saw how strongly it recovered, I thought there may be another pullback back to $1 for XRP. But everyone's got their own way. And here's the thing. If you're right, Cynthia, I still win. You know what I mean? Again, because I'm here for the long view. I just stack over time. So if you're right, I still win. I mean, I'm green right now on this pullback because of the way I dollar cost averaged in. Kevin Hawthorne in the house from Florida. You lucky duck. I want to be at the beach so bad. I want warm weather. Crypto Roger says that Cynthia is right. I'd dump another 5K into XRP under 90 cents. I mean, if it goes below $1, I still have my buy order set at $1. I still have a large buy order set at $1 for XRP if it does go there. But again, everyone has to decide their own way. I think you have good intentions, so I'm going to subscribe. Well, thank you, Oddball. I appreciate you doing that. Again, we do the same thing every day. No hype, no hopium. I'm trying to build a community that's here for the long view of crypto. Create a different mindset around crypto as opposed to the lottery, gambling, prediction market crap that it's turned into. That's why most of the retail crypto holders have moved on to prediction markets and sports betting, right? So that's why crypto is getting boring. Enough people got wrecked. Institutions are taking over. And to me, that's why I'm like, okay, well, retail is out. Fear is at an all-time high. Institutions are taking over. Prices are at lows. Sentiment's the worst it's been in years. But we have the most amount of tailwinds we've ever seen in the history of crypto. The most amount of adoption. The most amount of ledger activity. Like, there's been so much positive movement for crypto as a whole. For the price to be going down is strictly because of what's happening in the global overall market. So it's still tied as a risk asset until it's not. That's why it's a long view speculative play. CFTC just stacked 20 of 35 advisory seats with crypto CEOs, but Bitcoin is down like 47% from all-time high, and sentiment hit half an all or sentiment hit an all-time low of 5. Yes, you are 100%, Sir Charles. And as terrible as the second half of that sounds, to me, that's actually all positive, because those are the things that happen right before the second leg up moves typically. Again, my opinion, but that's why I dollar cost average in over the long view. This has to be the widest gap between infrastructure building and price action that I've ever seen. I completely agree with that. Three Brothers, I'm doing good, man. Welcome back to the stream. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Glad you could take your time to be here. There were 23 people in the house. And again, if you guys are still here by now, please hit the like button. Again, commenting, engaging in the chat, liking the stream helps get it out to more people. So if you want to help grow the stream, if you think no hype, no hopium, actual real news on what's taking place in the crypto community is important, then hit the like button, engage, help other people find it. That's all I ask of you. If you get some value in it, enjoy. Let's go, says Crypto Mercenary. Pam Stamper says, how's everyone doing? I feel like it's been years since I've seen y'all. Yeah, it's been a while since you've been in the stream, Pam Stamper. I haven't seen you in a little bit. CZ is a crook, but knowing that, outwit the wit. Well, that's the thing. We have to know what we're dealing with, right? So when it comes to anything in life, truthfully, when it comes to anything in life, we have to, before we do anything with any situation, we have to know what the situation is. And we don't know what the situation is if we don't accept reality for what it is. So what do we know about the crypto market? Well, now it's full of institutions. What do we know about institutions? There's a bunch of crooks. What do we know about CZ? He was a crook. I mean, he went to jail, yo. So, I mean, we know that this stuff's going to happen. What do we know? Like, we have to accept for reality for what it is. Trump's family's making billions of dollars in crypto. He's going to want crypto to do well. I'm not trying to say anything bad about one person or another person. Some people look at me and they're like, well, you're going to make money off XRP, so you're a terrible person because they're going to screw over the world. I'm looking at what a snapshot picture of the world looks like and trying to position myself in the best possible position for me and my family moving forward. And I don't blame anyone else for doing that. If they think they are positioning themselves to put themselves in the best possible spot for them and their family moving forward, as a man, as a guy, that's our purpose in life, yo. Like that is our that's our life's purpose, is to take care of and provide for our family and to give a good life for our children. That's what I believe anyway. So Pam Stamper says, it's been a while. Things are great over here. Good for Sir Charles. Silver's high 70s is still negative 35, but a good accumulation period. Yeah, I actually bought silver. Well, I bought silver ETFs, not physical silver, because the premiums are way too freaking high right now. But I bought silver ETFs at $73 an ounce and $68 an ounce. So I got in a nice accumulation part of silver. So I'm up on my silver right now. I'm up on my gold right now. I'm up on everything right now as far as the dollar cost averaging in over time. I hit my first goal with Canton. I now have just under 50,000 Canton. So I'll hit my first goal with Canton here in a little bit. I'm trying to get up to 50,000 Canton was one of my first goals with that. Raul says nothing is moving right now, and he is right. It's just chop right now. Markets are still digesting. It's a holiday weekend, but we could see some action tonight before markets open tomorrow if we get any wind of anything going on. At what point does paper silver market just break against these physical realities? If I had the answer to that, Charles, that's why you have to stack both, honestly. But if I had the answer to that question, man, I'd be very, very rich man right now. Because I'd be timing that market to the T. At some point, it will break, and that means the paper prices will skyrocket. Because right now, like, for instance, if I want to buy an ounce of physical silver from the mint, or, sealed from the mint, that's uncirculated, after the premium, you're looking at a minimum $92, $93 was the cheapest I could find anywhere that was certified and uncirculated. Now you can get some circulated stuff that's, you know, nicked up and whatever, and it's going to be the premium will be cheaper. But if you want uncirculated, it's going to be about $92 to $95 depending on where you get it. But you can go buy, you know, paper ETF essentially at $73 an ounce for the representation, or $77 an ounce for the representation. I wish I had the answer to that question, Charles. That there's a lot of money to be made in there. Would you ever live stream some scalping opportunities? I'd like to watch that and perhaps make the same trades. Well, I have to be careful with that. That would probably have to be like a member. I don't know if I could do that. I would definitely have to have some like major warnings up that it's not financial advice. Because I don't know. I'll have to do some research into the legalities of that, Charles. That might be something I could share in the members only live streams with you guys. But I really don't day trade that often. It's so infrequent. It's not like it's something I can necessarily schedule either. It's like I see something setting up and I'd have to go live and do it. So that would maybe be something I could do for members only live streams, or for members only if I'm gonna, you know, that would be actually some great value if I can legally do it, for my members to actually put my live trades in a live stream. So when I do decide to go live, I can just, or when I do decide to make a trade, I can just go live real quick and allow you guys to see my trades. I have to see about the legalities of that though. That's a great idea, Charles. Any update on the Clarity Act? There's going to be another meeting at the White House between the banks and between the between the banks and between, I got my brain all frazzled now. Between the banks and the crypto companies, there's another meeting taking place next week before the March 1st deadline set by Trump. That's all the updates we have right now on the Clarity Act. More of the same, more nothing, no change basically. There's another meeting next week. Pam Stamper says the work's been keeping him busy. You've been diving into some new AI plays. Okay, good for you. I know that the AI, like the AI agents are going to have a massive impact on crypto. Honestly, that's something that I'm not really heavily researched or involved in right now, is the AI/crypto. But I do know that a lot of like the transactions, crypto is going to be the currency for AI, because it's the only thing fast enough to handle AI. So we know that how those two are going to work together is going to be vitally important moving forward, something we're going to have to look into. But I've been really diving on the infrastructure plays because that's the level of adoption that's been happening right now. If we break down through 60K mining cost floor, what does the miner capitulation? Hey, I said it right. Capitulation. I always struggle with that word, man. What does the miner capitulation actually look like, and how fast does it cascade? I have to do more research into that. But I do know if it goes below 60, there's going to be some pain. Because at that point, you know, they can't pay their bills. If mining stopped, like eventually though, they'll balance each other out, right? Because if mining stops, then there's less supply. If there's less supply, price goes up. So how bad of a correction will it be in that situation? I mean, 40,000 maybe? 35,000? I mean, it could be brutal. But eventually it will balance itself out, because if the miners shut down, then Bitcoin is not being mined, and less circulating supply, more demand. So, I mean, that's kind of the entire concept of it. You'd get in that member scalping chat. Okay. All right. Well, then, yeah, if you guys want, when I'm sitting here from now on to my members, a new live stream, when I'm making trades, I will go live for you all. How about that? So when I'm making trades, I will go live for you guys and share that with you. Anyone who is in the members, memberships are only $7.99. They get you the weekly members live stream, and now they'll get you my trades. Again, I have to check the legality first, but I'm sure it should be okay, because I know there's people out there who trade. I just have to make sure I put major disclaimers that it's not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. Robots, algorithms, and drones will pay each other in crypto, and the sheep will go inside the metaverse. I don't think you're entirely wrong. However, they need to make some major improvements on virtual reality, because I mean, to me, a guy like me, I can't be in virtual reality for longer than 10 or 15 minutes, and my head's all kinds of wonky. For those of you who don't know, I had multiple strokes. But So whenever I get in VR, like it just messes with me. Like 10, 15 minutes, I am done. I can't mess with it anymore. I have to go sit down for 30 minutes just to get my head right after that. It's ridiculous. Let's see how many people are in the stream here. In the stream, only 20. Man, you know, I tried to do something different today. I tried to go back. Like I've been trying different. So that means if there's 20 people in here, 22 people in here, that means this is primarily my regulars. I've been trying to do something a little bit. I tried to do something a little bit different today because I've been trying to, like, you know, amp up the titles, amp up the thumbnails, really focus on one topic at the beginning of the stream as opposed to just an overall news stream to kind of bring in a more targeted audience. But unfortunately, that works. I tried to reel it back today and just keep it more plain Jane, more crypto news, more back to kind of how it was when it was just a show, before I started building it out, just to see how people might react to it. Because really, I mean, I typically have the monologue at the beginning of it and we have a topic, but really, I mean, the stream is every day talking about the same things we always talk about: keeping up with price, keeping up with the news, sharing our thoughts and opinions in the market. Now, a lot of people are wanting to know more about the scalp trading and stuff like that. So if you are a member, I'm checking the legality of that. I will be doing that. So let's do a recap for now. Let me get back to XRP, Bitcoin, and the rest of our plays. Again, everything's chopping right now. RSI is sitting right in the middle. It's at 43. So, I mean, that's on XRP. But even if we go back to Bitcoin, Bitcoin's just really chopping too. And again, the rest of the market is following Bitcoin right now. We fell down to 67.2. And then we ran back up to 68, and now it's deciding if it's going to stay above EMA 9. Again, more choppage. No major moves right now. It's deciding if it wants to continue this positive momentum right now. So really, this to me, again, not financial advice, but this to me would be kind of like not the perfect opportunity for a trade, for a long trade. We just tapped EMA 9. We just broke over it. If this candle were to close above EMA 9, that's telling me RSI is down here at 44. That's telling me it's moved on to a bullish continuance. Now, it could fall back below, right? That is the question. So if I wanted to make a trade, since everyone's asking about trades, again, not financial advice, do your own research. You can lose everything. This is what I do in my personal life. But I'll give you an example of what I do. So if I wanted to make a trade right now, see now it's dipping below EMA 9. I'm not feeling too confident about this. I want to see a little bit more. And again, I'm using this as an example. This is not a trade I would ever make because right now, I mean, everything's just chopping. There's no clear definition of which way things are going to go. The only thing I could use as a positive play on this would be the fact that I do know they're going to buy back some treasuries tomorrow morning. There's going to be an injection of liquidity, and it is bouncing off EMA 9, which is a good sign. So say all that data is good for me. I think it's going to go long. Then I can buy a limit here. Now, again, futures are different. See, now it just closed and fell underneath. Will it pop up? Will it continue down? See, it's literally just chopping right around EMA 9. So let's say I think it's going to go up though. So let me see here. It's currently at, oh, this is just Bitcoin. I need to go to the futures. Can't really do that with Bitcoin. So now it's 68,035. So again, I always like to set buy orders I think it's going to come down to. So right now the lowest low was 68.20. So what I'll do is I will put in a buy order at 68.20. So if it falls back to that price, I will buy it. Now, what does that do? This is a micro futures contract. So that locks up. You have to have available margin. That locks up right now. It's locking up $1,816 in margin. You have to be able to do that because it's leveraged, right? So I put one purchase there. So every time once it fills, it hasn't filled yet because it hasn't fallen to that price. But once that fills, every time it goes up $100, I go up $10. Every time it goes down $100, I go down $10. And I'm just waiting to see if it'll actually hit this buy. That's kind of how trading typically goes. Again, not financial advice. So again, we covered what's actually taking place on the ledger. Account set activity still spiked. Payments are still maintaining over 1 million. Again, we want to see that push up beyond 3 million. We'll hear a noise go off if that gets filled. Right now, the entire market is choppy. Some are up, some are down. Again, my personal 5 cryptos that I hold are XRP, Canton Network, Chainlink, HBAR, and Ondo. And my real world plays are copper, silver, gold, real estate, and energy. So we covered all of this news on X. Again, you can follow me on X at LongView Crypto. Oh, and we had some interesting information. Well, not really interesting information. Zach Rector followed me on X. I just sent him a DM. They were talking about the housing market. Let me see if I can find it. I commented, here it was. They're talking about the housing market. It says, I think housing prices are going to crash. For those of you who know, I was worried about this and literally just sold a house at the end of January because I was worried about this exact thing. And I also was kind of cash poor because I was on disability and had to make some changes. So that's just me. But yeah, when the bottom falls out from under you, right? When the bottom falls out from under you and you have to come up with a new way of doing things, man, you really find out a lot about yourself, don't you? There's a whole period of self-discovery. The excuses go out the window when you have to accept reality for what it is, when you have to accept the situation for what it is, when you have to accept that no one's coming to save us, right? We have to change our lives ourselves. So we covered a ton of news on X. Again, Zach Rector decided he wanted to follow me. I reached out to him, see if he wanted to collab sometime. I think that'd be pretty good. I mean, he did get into some stuff that I wasn't necessarily agreeing with, but ultimately, I think he's a good guy. I think he just got caught up in the noise for a second, if you know what I mean. C8 wallet, USDC on Canton is built for controlled transparency. USDC enables USDC-backed settlement with configurable privacy, allowing participants to share transaction details strictly on a need-to-know basis. This is good for Canton, folks. I'm telling you, this is only going to increase. ARK Invest says inflation wrestled in the 2 to 3% range for years. Now it's about 0.7% year over year, based on Trueflation, which is what I follow as well. Explains why more food price unwinding could push inflation negative, and that would be deflation. If we actually get to a deflationary point, that is bad. Deflation bad. Permission dexes go live on XRPL in 48 hours. Right now, big institutions can't fully use the public dex because they need compliance controls, KYC, restricted access, jurisdiction rules, and gated liquidity. The permission dex fixes that. Again, that's going live soon. Again, that's just privacy. We need privacy, right? And again, for XRP to bridge things, it needs things to bridge, right? We need tokenized stocks. We need tokenized dollars, right? That's what RLUSD is. It's a tokenized dollar. So the more things XRP can bridge between, the more it can be used. And that's exactly what a DEX is for. Now, if you guys want access to anything as far as, oh God, my brain. If you guys want anything as far as securing your crypto, I do have links in the description. I have a link to LAPAL, and I haven't put the link in there, but I do have a link for Tangem. I can get you a discount there. The code will be LongView. And I actually use Tangem now in place of my warm wallet because it's basically, they have a cold wallet with a DEX, which is essentially a more secure version of a warm wallet. So instead of a warm wallet, I've replaced that with Tangem, and then I use an Airgap cold storage wallet for my long-term crypto holding or institutional custody. The only thing I will say is whichever option you use as far as a cold storage wallet, just get it from the manufacturer. Go straight to their manufacturer website. If you have a discount code, great, but don't order it from a third party. Never order it from a third party. That's how you can get something on your cold storage wallet and you lose everything. And I don't want that for any of y'all. Japan is moving forward with XRP Ledger as far as the Japan's finance minister backs SBI and blockchain settlement and the stablecoin push. Again, SBI is a Ripple partner. We covered the 3 big reasons why XRP can increase in 2026 and beyond. Talking about Ripple adding a handful of new features to the XRP Ledger. That's reasonable to expect that the chain will see a lot more activity as a result, and don't be surprised if it takes a while for the coin's price to catch up afterwards. Shocker. That's just the XRP way. Good news, price go down, and we get it later on, hopefully. At least that's what we're all banking on. And again, negative news, right? Bitcoin could fall to as low as $10,000 as recession risks increase. This is another possibility. We have to look at both sides of the coin. You can tell yourself whatever story you want to tell yourself with headlines, with technical analysis, and that's why we invest over the long view. No one knows what's going to happen. As much as we like to try and predict that we do, and it's nice when we're right, but no one really knows how this is going to play out every day. We just follow it so we can make the best guess that we possibly can. And again, we talked about this when you're looking at headlines, XRP reserves on Binance are collapsing. It's talking about how it holds 2.5 billion down sharply from 3.2 billion back in November of 2024. But again, I remember doing videos in stream and reporting on Binance having a total of 1.6 billion back in December. So if that's the case, it's actually gone up 900 million in the last month and a half. So be careful with the headlines. They'll tell you there's context. They'll tell you whatever story they want to tell you. Let's hop back into the chat and talk to you guys again. Let's see here. I think because you're not selling hopium, YouTube doesn't push out the stream as much. Well, the way YouTube works as far as how it pushes things out. I mean, I wish I could say it was holding me back, but really, in a way, you're right. Let me get over there. Wrong screen. In a way, you're right, because the way YouTube decides what they're going to push is based on watch time, essentially. It's based on interest and watch time. They want people who are going to binge watch. So not only is it about people clicking on the video, it's about when people click on the video, how long they watch it. And then not only that, when they're done watching it, do they go watch another one of your videos? Like, they use all of these things to determine the value of the video and who they're going to show it to. And that's why I always tell you guys, the best thing you can do to help me is just to engage and watch, really, truthfully. So as I get better at delivering content that people want to watch and people want to stick around and stay for, then they'll push the stream out more and more. And then also, if the topic and the thumbnail is good, right, people will click it. So today, I have a completely bland title and thumbnail. There's no urgency for anyone to click. Therefore, I'm probably going to have a lower click-through rate. But, you know, that's just the way YouTube works. I can't look at it that way. I just have to present me and stay authentic. The more I try to fit what I think YouTube wants, I feel like the worse my content gets, and I have to reel it back a little bit to get more to me. I'm on disability, so I cannot afford what most of these gurus charge for their courses on futures trading. So if you do that, it would be awesome. Well, I'm certainly looking into it. I mean, I'm not a guru by any means, but I've been around this space for 7 years. And again, I can't tell you it's financial advice. None of it's financial advice. I will tell you, though, I am studying to become a financial advisor. I'm working on my Series 65. It's taken me longer than I would have liked because I have short-term memory issues and I have to deal with and that kind of makes test taking challenging, unfortunately. But, yeah, I'm looking into it. I think as long as I can legally do it, then I'll do it. So if you guys want access to that, make sure you grab a membership, make sure you sign up, and that will be part of the members only experience from now on, as well, as long as I can do it legally, not financial advice. I suggest looking into revocable trust to protect assets, not financial advice. Well, I have a living trust, so that way I don't have to, that way my family doesn't have to worry about probate. If something ever happened to me, everything's just automatically taken care of for them. But revocable trust, I'll do some more research into that, Pam Stamper. All the new phones have Android 15, this OS package with Gemini AI. I'm concerned with buying a phone that will hold crypto alongside Gemini AI. Well, that's, I don't hold the bulk of my crypto on my phone. The bulk of my crypto is either right here in my air gap cold storage wallet, or it's an institutional custody with Caleb and Brown. I have a couple, I have a few thousand here and there on exchanges. Like right now I'm holding money on exchanges and I'm holding crypto on the exchange because I want access to the futures margin. I have to hold so much on my account, right? You have to have so much money available on there or they won't give you the margin. You can't participate in the futures. And then there's day trading rules and stuff like that. So, but I don't disagree with you, Roger. The whole phone thing, I don't really care for that much either. And that's why I typically use that for movement of stuff. I don't keep my long-term stuff on a warm wallet or on my phone by any means whatsoever. And I wouldn't recommend anyone else to do that either. If you're doing long-term storage, I would highly recommend institutional custody, or if you're going to do it yourself, an air gap cold storage wallet. But that's just me. Do your own research. Just whatever you do, get it from the manufacturer. You don't have to use my links. That's fine. Get it from the manufacturer. Don't lose your crypto. But that is, I think that's everything here. Let's take a look at what's actually going on here in the price action. Hopefully the stream grew a little bit. It was a little bit quieter today, but that's okay. I had good energy. I felt it was a good stream today. What do I want? I want this. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Trying to find out the right screen here. So see, now it's going down. I was wrong. And it bought it. It didn't give me the little noise. So it did buy it, and now it's going down. So I'm down $13 right now because it fell below. So where was the last drop? It looks like this shelf right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my stop right. Where did I buy? I bought it 68,020. So if it goes down to there, right there, so 700. So I'm going to set my stop at 67,600. Stop at 67,600. So what does this do? So what I'm buying the other way below. Again, not financial advice. So I'm selling the other way. So I bought here. So if price goes up, I make money. I'm selling here. So if it comes down here, it cancels out and I'm out of it. So the most I'll lose is from 6820 to 67,600. So the most I'm going to lose is $400, or not $400, $40, $42. So that would be the worst way I could possibly lose. You know what I mean? And if it turns around and goes up, I'll start making money. But right now I'm down $15 on this trade. And again, this is not a trade I would do under most circumstances. So you see stop goes below, limit is above. Oop. But yeah, this is not a trade I would do under most normal circumstances. I was just trying to show you guys as an example. And again, not financial advice. Do your own research. So worst case, I'll lose 40 bucks on this. Let's see here. I saw some chats. Let me take a look at the chats here. Chat. Boop. How do you know institutional custody won't steal your crypto or they get hacked? Well, most institutional custodies have insurance, okay? There is a level of insurance with the institutional custody. You have to check on it. And honestly, I will have Jim on. Jim is my point of contact for Caleb and Brown as far as onboarding in their partner program. I will have Jim on stream in the future, and I will have him go over all the ins and outs of everything so you guys can ask them any questions that you want. They will completely break it down for you a heck of a lot better than I can. But I do know they use Fireblocks for their cold storage institutional custody. The same people that partnered with Canton Network and also Caleb and Brown runs on the XRP ledger. So if it's good enough for the Canton network and it's good enough for the major institutions using the Canton network, I trust Fireblock's cold storage institutional custody. But that's just me. Everyone has their own way. Everyone has to do their own research. I trust it a heck of a lot more than I do Robinhood or Coinbase. That's for damn sure. Rector had several 100% predictions last year that never came to fruition. He flew cross country to Ripple Swell and Brad denied him an interview. He's just another self-described expert in XRP. Well, then maybe I can give him a run for his money, Cynthia. I will, you know, if I do get an opportunity to do something like that, I'm not gonna cower. I'll stick to my opinions and say exactly what I believe. And if it ruffles feathers, it ruffles feathers. But I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. If nothing else, then maybe I can present a different way to a different audience if I do get the opportunity and maybe grow it out that way. But all I can do is try to show what I do every single day, and the right people, right, or the people it's right for will find it. That's the goal. And I'm glad all of you have found it to this point, and we will keep going. I'll be back tomorrow at noon, and hopefully we'll have some more trades in the future. Unless you guys want to see how this one shakes out before I get out of here, we can follow this one for a little bit and see how it actually shakes out before I get out of here. It's already starting to move back up now. And what I would do, like for instance on this one, and again, not financial advice, I'll say it a million times, especially since I'm actively trading right now. But when we're looking at how this is actually going to play out, let me see. Why is this doing this? I messed all my stuff up because I was streaming on my other channel last night and it messed up all my settings, so it threw me off. And again, you guys can join my other channel as well. It's literally nothing to do with crypto. It's just me hanging out playing video games. It's called Dadcraft Live. I'm going to try to do that about 2 or 3 times a week in my spare time. Because why not? I've got all this streaming stuff. If people want to come hang out with me, great. I enjoy streaming. I enjoy talking to people. I could honestly probably sit here online, on camera, answering questions all freaking day about just about anything. Maybe I should have gotten a radio when I was younger. You know what I mean? That probably would have turned out really, really well for me. You guys want to follow it along? Okay. You guys want to hang out? All right. I'll leave it up. We will leave it up and see how it goes. Keep the chat rolling then. Hit the like button. I'm staying here for you all. Hit the like button and keep the chat rolling, and we will see how this trade plays out. It's starting to turn on the green here, so hopefully it continues. It wouldn't be so bad, you know, if I really wasn't just winging it. If this thing ends up winning, like say for instance this, because what I'll do, say this were to turn around and start going up. I already have my box. This is a fair value gap that I marked out earlier when I was looking at doing a potential trade down here. Because I really use RSI, fair value gaps. I look at the EMA 9. I try to get a judge of what's going to happen the next day with liquidity and things like that, because they're not really scalp trades. These are more, how do I put it? These are more swing trades than anything else. Have I considered podcasts? Well, this is a podcast as well, Pam Stamper. So these videos are also going out on podcasts on YouTube Music as well. I have it set up for both. Now I don't know how to put it on other things, but visuals are really, really good. I don't know too much about doing a podcast and not being able to present visuals to people. Because I really heavily rely on visuals and viewer engagement, which is, you know, it is what it is. But it's a lot easier to talk with people when they have something to watch or something else to listen to, as opposed to filling all of the space. If you win, we all get a free month. Well, it would be my luck that something like that would happen. I would just like throw a trade together all willy-nilly and then just take off. Like that would be how it typically works out sometimes. But it's when, truthfully though, you notice though, I want to point out the first thing I did when I made this trade, and again, not financial advice, but this is how I work. The very first thing I did when I made this trade is I put in a stop. Never forget to put in a stop, because the last thing you want to do is walk away, go get a drink or whatever, and then the market turn and it just start crashing on you and you're down $200 because you didn't put a stop on. So when you hear people complaining about getting stopped out and something like that, it's usually because there's like a large wick that runs real quick, closes all those orders, and then it runs up. It's called manipulation or a stop hunt. You'll see these little wicks show up out of nowhere, and it's just clearing out all the orders. So see, right now it's down 1150 from the original purchase price. And if you guys want me to keep doing this, I need you to keep chatting. I'm actually, though, give me a few seconds. I got to go use the restroom because we're over an hour right now. I should have planned ahead of time. I didn't think we were going to be hanging out watching a trade. So give me 1 minute. I'll be right back to you. And hopefully this thing turns around on us. All right, I'm back up to only losing $6 right now, so that's good. Do I ever trade with leverage? I'm trading with leverage right now. That's what futures contracts are. They're leverage. That's why you have to have margin. That's why you have to have so much in your account, because it's technically leverage. Even though it's, very safe leverage, as you can see, it's still considered leverage. I never caught live trading before. Well, I typically don't do this. This is new. For my long view, let me clarify. For my long view, I'm about dollar cost averaging in over time. That's not what's happening right now. So and you can ask anyone in this stream, will hop in and tell you, I talk about dollar cost averaging in over time all the time. It is the best way. It is better than timing tops and bottoms. But I also do technical analysis. I've also been watching the markets for a very long time. I have day trading experience. I have scalping experience. I have swing trading experience. I've done these things before. So when I see a really good setup, a lot of times I will jump in and take some profit. For instance, that's what I did yesterday. I jumped in and made a quick $90 profit because I saw a trade line up. So that's why I do it. It's not financial advice. I'm not suggesting anyone else do it, but that's why I do it. Have I considered a podcast? Yes, this should be going out as a podcast. It should be both a podcast and a video. So it should be going out on YouTube Music, but I don't know how to, I'm still new to all that stuff. So hopefully I can get it spread out larger. I was told I should start streaming on X and stuff like that too. I have to look into how to do that. I'm really trying to not only get into a collaboration with another YouTube streamer, but also find a mentor streamer that can maybe help me with the finer details that I can improve on and improve the channel. If you win, we all get a free month. We'll see. We'll see. I have to figure out how I can even do that, because YouTube's got to take their piece too. I don't, if you guys have a membership, YouTube gets their piece also. I'm at the mercy of YouTube when it comes to that stuff. No, you don't say. The market would never allow manipulation. Never. Never, ever, ever. But we have to accept reality for what it is so we know it's there therefore we can plan on it, right? That's kind of the idea. I used to put my entries where a typical stop loss would be and could catch those big manipulation wicks down. Absolutely. One of the things I did when I was day trading, I used to love the opening 15-minute scalp. And I can explain that in a minute, but in more detail. But essentially, the first 15 minutes is typically going to move the opposite direction of what the market is. And I use that opening 15-minute manipulation candle scalp. I did that so much. I made a lot of money in the first hour. Like I would get on for an hour and trade the first hour of the morning, and that was it. And then I would go golf or whatever I was doing that day. I tried swing trading. It was too much at once and lost too much too fast. Hodling is my jam. And everyone has their own way. And that's what I'm saying. When I do it, it's very little now. And it's only if I have a really clean setup. And I always have a stop. So if you're in that vein of it, then like, especially for, again, not financial advice, but for anyone coming on, they shouldn't be doing more than like 2 or 3 trades a week to start anyway. Like at that point, you're just learning, because then you get into revenge trading. And then again, with technical analysis, you can tell yourself any story that you want to tell yourself. You have to stick with the same exact structure over time, so you don't catch yourself trying to revenge trade or tell yourself stories that you want to hear, right? We're here for the long view. I don't want anyone to lose money. I want everyone to make money, be rich, and be happy. But we don't always get what we want. I also want a toilet made out of solid gold. I've been saying it for 30 years. I still don't have it yet. It ain't going to happen, I don't think. But nonetheless, I bet you Trump's got one. I bet you Trump has a toilet made out of solid gold somewhere. Down to 11 people hanging in the stream. We've lost everyone except for probably the OG regulars at this point who just want to see how this trade's going to play out. It's okay, though. That means I can chill. That means I don't have to be on energy, on point right now. We can just watch this trade play out. Oh, it's in the green now, up to 250. They see me rolling. They hating. See, I'm getting bored. Now you're going to have to listen to me rap. It's just bad. I just got my toilet made out of solid gold, and I just found out it's plated. Even a plated one would be a little bit pricey these days, $5,000 an ounce for gold. If you want to buy gold at the premium, it's like $5,300 or $5,400 an ounce to get physical gold right now. You know, crazy world we live in. I had a text message while I was streaming. I'm going to check it, make sure I didn't miss anything important. Oh, someone's trying to sell me a... Oh, gosh. The housing spam has gone the other way now. Oh, my God. I got out of my house just in time. I'm literally getting text message offers for people to sell me their property now. You know how you get those... You know how you get those messages, people trying to buy your house all the time, right? At least I was. For probably a year or 2 years, I was getting messages all the time from people asking if I was interested in buying or interested in selling my house to them. I literally just sold my house last month, and then now I'm getting messages from people asking me if I'm interested in buying houses. I just got I'm like, oh my God, I got out of that right in time. They're trying to catch you right in there. That's right. Pamster says, when I was in Iraq, I saw gold toilets with faucets in the palace. I seen pictures. So when I was in the Air Force, I did airfield systems maintenance. But before that, my career field was tactical ground radio. And I actually was supposed to deploy with the Army. So I actually worked a lot because one of the jobs of that was I maintained the radio Jerk 206 pallets in the back of the Humvees. So I was supposed to deploy. with special forces and actually trained with special forces. But before my deployment, 2 weeks before my deployment, I injured my ankle in physical training and actually detached 2 ligaments and had to have a full reconstruction done. And then after that, I couldn't run anymore. So I ended up getting medically separated. Chameleonaire, he was a good rap. I like all kinds of rap. So I am the craziest, weirdest white boy you will ever meet. So I grew up in the 90s and I love 90s rap. But I started getting out of rap in the early 2000s and got really into rock music. So I like a lot of like the early 2000s, late 2000s rock era. And then now I mainly really listen to reggae. Honestly, I like Dirty Heads. I like Ayaterra. And I go back. I still like my 90s rap. I go back and I listen. I love Ludacris. Love Nelly. Love Tupac. Of course, the originals. Pac, Biggie. You know, all the OGs. Ice Cube, Dre, Snoop Dogg, like Eminem. Not a huge 50 Cent fan, but like all the 90s stuff. Absolutely love it. 8Ball and Machine, MJG. Okay. Who's MJG? I don't know who that is. I've heard of 8Ball. I don't know who MJG is. So I grew up in Kansas City. I grew up in the Midwest, but my whole family is from Philadelphia. And I'm not talking the suburbs of Philadelphia. I'm talking Center City, Philadelphia, right? Like lived in Irish Town right next to Dagoville, can't cross 10th Street, kind of, you see what I'm saying? So my whole family is from there. So I lived in downtown Philadelphia for 2 years as well when I was a teenager. So I got a rude awakening to what city life is like compared to suburban life, you know, going from the suburbs of Kansas City to living in the downtown Philadelphia. I was quite a culture shock, but I figured it out along the way. You were a single channel radio operator early in your Army career. I'm familiar with what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, no, I did tactical ground radio and I love me some Tech 9. I actually know him. Love Tech 9. So Tech, believe it or not, my girlfriend her cousin is actually married to Tech. So my girlfriend's cousin is Tech's wife. So I've actually met him a time or two. But yeah, he's a cool dude. But the funny thing is I actually met him before my girlfriend, because he had associations with my brother when I was a teenager back in the 90s or back in the early 2000s. My brother was a parlayer of party favors back then. So I love Tech 9. Yeah, Tech 9's a good dude. I actually used quite a few of his songs in some of my shorts when I first started the channel, because you can pick songs off of whatever's available. So I actually used quite a bit. One of Tech's songs actually mentions my brother in it from back in the day, which I thought was pretty cool. So my brother actually made an appearance in a Tech song. Tech 9? Plus I'm a Chiefs fan, you know, Red Kingdom, always one of those things. But I'm shocked not too many people know about Tech 9 outside of Kansas City. I got quiet. The chat got quiet. You guys got me going about Tech 9, but I can't. I would just start playing music. I need to talk to him and see if I can get a copyright license to play his music on my channel. That'd be pretty dope. He might let me, but I don't know. We'll see if he's willing to make a phone call. He's busy. He's busy, dude. See, now we're back negative again. It's just literally chopping right around the entry point, and this is why I said this was not the best entry point to do this, because I kind of had a feeling that this is exactly how that was going to play out. You're not about his early stuff. Oh gosh, his first 3 years I thought were great. Like, but I mean, that was way, way early. I'm talking Calm Before the Storm, Absolute Power, Angelic. Like, that was all the stuff I grew up listening to in the late 90s, early 2000s as far as tech goes. But I like his newer stuff, like What's one of the, like, I really like the new one, Like I Ain't. I like that one. And I like a lot of the older stuff too, though. Like Everybody But Me. Like a lot of his early stuff was club music. That was strip club music. His older stuff, he's growing up more now, you know. That's how it goes. We're down 1650 though. 1350. This is gonna chop for a while, guys. So here's what we'll do. We'll see if it continues. I'll give you guys an update. Follow me on X. I'll send an update on X if it gets capped out. But you guys can follow along without me streaming. Because you'll be able to see if Bitcoin falls to 67,600, that means I got stopped out and I lost. If it doesn't and it rotates up, that means I'm going to make some money. We'll see how it plays out. But I'm going to hop off here for now, and I will catch you guys tomorrow at noon. I will be back every single day, Monday through Saturday. Later.